the people that have created this, the people that act as judges on this, have been guests on all these shows that I've mentioned. Their crowdsourced campaigns were funded through the people that I mentioned as the people on the Hydra. There are other people that rear their ugly, multi-headed craziness that are all connected to these people. They even have their own YouTube channel where they give you their commission of inquiry. They let you talk to Sir John Wash of Branagh, an unproven 1,000 things. He says he's a knight. He says that he is a baron. He says that he is a lawyer, even though he admits he has no paperwork for any of this, but he says he was naturalized through his father to have all these titles. Really makes sense why they don't want the law to be present, and they want their own law made so they can give themselves titles and push this stuff without repercussion, maybe. Governments as corruption, Family Law Act, justification. They want to change the law for you and your family. They want to change your government. They want to find new ways to define justice and justification. They want to change what responsibility is, even though they don't believe that evidence should be ever considered in anything that happens. Retrospective law, statute law, truth and fairness, targeted individuals, testimony, and look who's right there. Fiona Barnett, one of the queens of the movement who has been advertised and propagated on all these YouTube channels. You can almost sniff out who's involved by looking at Fiona, because all of them push and interview her. So let me grab a video here from Joelbot5, who likes to grab clips of these types of things and catalog them so that you have the evidence of what's really going on behind the scenes. I don't know why at first I didn't know why they weren't transparent about who pays them, what they do, and what happens behind the scenes, but I understand now. Because if they would come out when you first find them, or when anyone does, and tell you they want your fingerprint, your social, your birthday, your name, they want you to forego the laws where you live and the constitution of where you live and accept theirs, people would run away screaming. They would never trust them, donate to them, or believe them. They would never believe their conspiracies. So, how did Mr. Sather, if you've seen Red Pill to Pay the Bills on Jordan Sather, and there's a few of them, how did he get started on YouTube? Well, I don't have to go back to any of my old videos. Joelbot clipped it, and it's from his own mouth. Let's hear him out.
I was in the store, and I was like, I could do that. We were shooting ideas back and forth, and finally the idea of YouTube came up. It's like, let's do a YouTube channel. I'm like, that's a good idea.
Somebody who runs a blog called Stillness in the Storm that was started in 2013. You see, the terminology that are in these conspiracies happened before the conspiracies, and you can find these things if you look for them. These guys plotted and planned this much further back than what they'll admit. They want you to believe that they just discovered a 4chan post and decided to talk about it, and it propelled them to fame. They didn't discover the post. They were given the post.
June of last year, I went to Contact in the Desert. And that was the first conference, any kind of gathering that I'd ever been to was Contact in the Desert.
Contact in the Desert is a popular gathering for people like David Wilcock, Corey Good, and Jordan Sather to speak at, where they give their conspiracy theories and ideas for how the government should be run and how the universe works, if you don't know. Weird, because it's all of those people that are connected to this thing that I'm showing you.
Last year, again, dude, he helped me get there. He literally bought my plane ticket
He bought his plane ticket. So in this video, Secret Space Pizza, Joelbot5 details all of the evidence that proves that this was not some natural movement that happened on the internet, that a group of people sat down and drew this out, helped it to go viral, paid for it to go viral, paid for the people to be able to gain what they have so they could then put the influence out there to others. I would show this whole video to you, but you could just go watch it afterwards and see it for yourself. What does he say? That a guy named Justin Deschamps paid for him back when he wasn't pop. Now, some of you may not know this, but back when my main YouTube channel right now, it's got like 38,000 subs. Back when it only had 1,000 or 2,000 subs, it was about the same size as Jordan's. I think he had 8 or 10,000 subscribers. He hadn't started talking all the crazy conspiracy. I figured out who he was. Like, it's the first time I ever saw his channel, right? So he's saying, like Mr. Sather is saying, that before he even had a YouTube channel, so imagine, one of you guys, you've never had a YouTube channel, no one knows who you are, all you've done is watch some videos, and all of a sudden, some guy contacts you out of the blue named Justin Deschamps and wants to fly you in an airplane, pay for your ticket to come and speak at a conference and start you up with a YouTube channel, give you the idea of starting a YouTube channel, have you write for his blog, but you refuse to write for the blog, but instead you take what's put on the blog and put it on your channel, which, by the way, that wasn't represented in the beginning of his channel. He acted like they were his own thoughts and discoveries, not Justin Deschamps, which is ironic and weird, and you can hear it for yourself. Let me play just another couple seconds.
He's like, man, I want to help you.
And some of you may not be interested in this, but I think you should, because this is the perfect, completely proven, fully evidenced thing that shows how easy it is for people to use YouTube as a scam, to use it to perpetuate lies and misinformation to make money and political change, and to push their ideologies underneath things like conspiracy theories and misinformation. And if people use YouTube for this, it makes YouTube worse for every creator. We all know this. YouTube used to try to make the platform an open thing, and they use excuses like what these guys do to clamp down on the platform and to punish all creators. Let him finish.
And then, so again, thank you, Justin. And you got your
Justin, a complete stranger, says, that guy, fly him out here. That guy, start a YouTube channel. Why didn't he ever talk about that on YouTube? Why didn't he talk about that back then? He didn't want you to know. Because if you poke around on this website, which he mentions there, Stillness in the Storm, isn't that crazy? A website has been sitting there for years before the president ever said those iconic words that spawned one of the worst conspiracy theories that's ever hit the internet from 4chan. He said the words, this is the calm before the storm, right? So strange that there's a website, the Stillness in the Storm, that literally has all the ideologies of the future conspiracy theory that's about to come from those presidents' words. So ironic, isn't it? I went there and I started to dig around myself. And I noticed I saw Justin Deschamps on a few pages. So I went and did a search. I hit Control F and I searched for his name. Now, some of you know how websites work and some don't, but websites they work by a code. You can right click any website and go to view page source and see the code of the website. The reason I did that is because when I hit Control F and searched his name, it said his name was in this website, but I couldn't find it. So I searched the code of the website and found links to his original archive on this website. Where are you? Where are you? Here we go. Now, this is all of his stuff. And if you look at Justin Deschamps' stuff, that is this guy right here, pictured with Jordan Sather, only a mile from a Department of Defense installment, which I think is also very relevant. Some people disagree with me, so I'll let that go, because they also named the meeting there the DOD. I don't know. I don't fall for stuff like that myself. I think it's too coincidental, but hey, I'm crazy. If you look, as far back as 2015, this dude was cataloging everything that would happen with the future conspiracy theories on YouTube. He must be able to predict the future. He must be able to tell what's going to happen. As I'm sliding up, I noticed that he himself runs the website and that he's the author of the updates for the Stillness in the Storm. And as I click there, I find something I almost didn't believe. So under 2015, this is in September, and I always tell you, right before the fake ass stuff starts on YouTube and before they push new lies and what I call LARPs onto the public, which are just scams, before they push a new scam onto the public, it's usually around September, October, and November. That's like I always call that period the month of the LARP, the month of the scam. Brief Stillness in the Storm update. I'm going to provide updates. As you know, Julian, my partner in life, has died. I'm going to skip this part. In addition to all of this, Justin Deschamps says, I was asked to be a trustee for the International Tribunal for Natural Justice. My role, along with 6 other trustees, is to oversee the ITNJ and ensure that it moves forward toward its goal of providing natural justice to the people. Once this phase of the launch has been completed, which should happen this week, I will be able to devote more time. I will also be traveling back to Massachusetts. Remember, he has magical people that contact this guy who runs a blog about crazy stuff that tries to tell you that there's aliens and tells you that there's all these things on Mars and all this crazy stuff, right? So just a guy that operates a very small blog, by the way, gets contacted by an entity, by this thing. They want to spend thousands of dollars to fly him over the seas in Westminster and put him up in a hotel room with a bunch of other people to create a constitution and a treaty. Isn't this crazy? Who would think? Could you imagine you have a blog out of nowhere, somebody asks you? I bet they paid him too. You think he just did it out of the kind goodness of his heart, right? Anyway, my point is, he most likely is using this to get people to follow him, and whatever he does, whoever he is, has some connection to a big group of people that want this kind of thing to happen in the world. So he's going to travel back to Massachusetts Monday, as my travel time will have ended for this foreseeable future. Needless to say, with life events and logistical needs taken care of, things should be much smoother in the future. I'm sure it is, because I bet you got a nice big check around that time too. So of course, by reading this, I'm a little bit confused. I don't know what the ITNJ is. I don't know what the International Treaty for Natural Justice is, or any of this. In fact, it sounds a little dubious, and that's why I searched it out.